About 15 years ago, I made the move from the Bay Area to Sacramento. And my biggest regret, guys, this is my number one regret. I should have done it a whole lot sooner. Guys, Sacramento is amazing. The Sacramento area, best bang for your buck in all of California, bar none. We're close to the snow, job diversity, we're the state capital, guys. Sacramento also is on a huge growth spurt. We're seeing things happen in Elk Grove, in Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Rockland, you name it. They're developing an amazing ecosystem here for Sacramento. But here's the thing. If I could jump back in a time machine 15 years ago, I probably would have done a few things different. They're not regrets, but there are things that in retrospect, I probably would have done different. This live broadcast, this video is all about that. So if you're thinking about making a move to Sacramento and you're saying to yourself, okay, like what are the steps, or what should I be kind of looking for? What should I be doing? Well, I'm going to break down what I went through, how I made my move, and the mistakes I made, the mistakes you shouldn't make if you're jumping into Sacramento. Let's get into it. All right, guys, hopefully you guys are having an enjoyable evening. It started raining today, so if you guys are enjoying the rain like I am, hopefully the winds don't knock down too many fences, but that's what it's looking like in Sacramento right now. I'll hit it with Duke, who says, hope the market tanks. Everything is way overpriced. My kids need to buy a home. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm seeing a lot of retreads, a lot of people pricing the same way they did last summer, and a lot of stuff kind of sitting a little bit. You know, I think, like I said, I think the market is going to tell the tale. I think if you basically, you know, put a house out there and it's overpriced, I don't think your buyer is just so jonesing to get that house that they're going to basically like grab it. And I think, you know, a lot of sellers probably should have gotten a little bit of the message last summer when they were listing their homes and they were just sitting and coming out with aggressive pricing is probably a good thing. Maybe even adding a little bit, $20,000 seller credit to help with the buying down the rate. I'm with you, Duke. I'm with you. Honestly, straight up. Like I have 3 daughters, you know, and, my oldest is like finishing up college, and I think to myself, like, it's not a market anymore. And anywhere there, you know, it's easy to buy a house anymore. I mean, you know, everyone's like, oh, where is it affordable? I don't know, anywhere right now. I think it's a dual income kind of world we're living in right now. If that, I think a lot of people are being forced into renting, and I think it's not, I mean, honestly, it's not a great way to be. So, do I think the market's going to tank? I think it's going to be guided right now by buyer demand, interest rates, and if spring market is going to kick into gear. Do I think do I think buyers are going to be, you know, jumping into some of these overpriced houses? I don't think so. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it straight up. We're working with a lot of buyers that were ready to hop off the fence in January. They saw inventory coming back, and then they were excited. And then the inventory had higher price points and they stopped. And so that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Is there demand still for real estate? Yeah, there is. But what you're noticing right now, the thing that's kind of putting people back into the resale market as well too, is new homes. I think it was maybe October, November. They were thinking that rates would start dropping. Buyer demand was going to go crazy. They were the only game in town. And so I think that a lot of these new home builders stopped doing great incentives. I think they pulled back. I know Taylor did. I know a bunch of them did. And I think right now, I think that might have really, like, you know, stopped them a little bit from getting their sales, because like now I'm getting a lot of calls from new home people, and I love my new home people, don't get me wrong. But I think that like builders tend to be a little greedy about that stuff. And I think that giving incentives did kind of give us a kind of false positive on the market. But now incentives aren't there as much as they were. Like October, you know, you got KHOV that was offering like 3.49 interest rates. No one's there yet. No one's there anymore. And so I think that's going to hurt a little bit. Then you move out. Me too, 3 girls. I'm with you, man. I'm totally with you. All right. I wish Kaiser Permanente Sacramento will have more openings for nurses. Well, okay, here's the good news, right? Number one is they are opening a new Kaiser in Roseville, and they're going to have that Kaiser Permanente campus downtown. So we are having an influx of more like hospitals, right? Also Folsom Ranch. You got like what's called UC Davis Medical Center campus. You also have Dignity going in there. So hospitals, you're probably going to see a lot more pop up. And then you got the medical center at Innovation Center or something in Natomas. It's going to be a medical school, but also is going to have some medical jobs as well too. So they are bringing in more medical. I do think that right now, for you, I would say that honestly, right now, you could see a huge, big influx of medical jobs hitting the Sacramento area. I think if we jump into like a recession, which there's a debate. Are we in it? Isn't it? Whatever. Okay. But for the most part, if we're in a kind of a weird economic climate, one of the things that I see to be like one of the things that are always like kind of state jobs, which we got a lot of, and medical doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. So I'm crossing my fingers for you, wishing you positive energy. But if you're anywhere, this is where you want to be. I mean, we've moved in a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, and they tell us, pay is great and they treat us really, really well. So I think as opposed to other areas where you have maybe one Kaiser or maybe there's one thing, you got like Sutter, Mercy, Dignity, Kaiser. If I overlapped, I apologize. And you got a bunch more. So I think that our medical jobs in the Sacramento area, I don't know if anywhere in California is going to be better than that, better than what they offer here. So hopefully we get more. And like I said, there's new infrastructures being built for medical and everything too. So, I mean, this is where you go, I mean, imagine if it's like not great here, what it's like in other areas that don't have any, as many medical facilities around. So I like it. So hopefully I wish you the best. And like I said, if there's any updates on anything medical, you'll hear it here first. I promise. All right, Peyton, we're under contract in Gold River. What's the good and bad and the ugly? How realistic is it for us to add skylights? Ooh, okay. So they have like, if you're in the Powell homes, it's a lot more like architectural reviews and all that stuff too. So it's not like fun, right? But at the same time, like it all depends on your village and your HOA. Your first HOA meeting is going to tell you a whole lot. Now, how Gold River works is Gold River is a general HOA, and then each village have an HOA on top of them. Now, if you're in the Powell HOAs, you have to get it past an architectural committee. I kid you not, I had solar for my pool put in. I had to wait about 2 weeks to have it get past the architectural committee. Skylights, as long as there's something that kind of flow with the architecture of the home, probably, it won't be a pain, but like, if it's something that's like drastic, like for example, for me, I saw this cool outdoor bar kind of shed thing at Costco that I just fell in love with. But because it was like 8 feet and it was over my fences, I knew if someone took and they will take pictures of that, send it to the HOA, they'd have me remove it. So I would say number one is go to the architectural committee and just, see how hard it's going to be. The one right on Gold Country Boulevard. For me, I think, like I was talking to someone at swim practice, actually, I'm at Gold River Sports Club, and I was talking to her and I'm like, and she loves the HOA here. She's like, oh my God, this is why we moved in. We were in Fair Oaks, and one of the houses next to us, they were running an office. The other one had like 4 cars in the driveway, and they would ask my husband almost on a daily basis to move their cars. I think there's a happy medium, right? Like, I think like Curro Downs, $84 HOA, not a lot of parking on the streets. It's good. I think that's good. I think Gold River tends to go a little turbo when it comes to the HOA stuff, but at the same time, like it is beautiful around here. Now for the good and bad and the ugly is, for the most part, if you live in Gold River, it's a little bubble community. All the shopping is here for the most part, right? You can cross Sunrise and go to Smart and Final, but for the most part, like you've got like all the shopping you're going to need. You got Chase, you got Wells Fargo, you got everything right there. For me, one of the nicest things about Gold River is it does feel like a bubble in the middle of like kind of like craziness, right? I love that about it. I love the tranquility, the peace and quiet. I would say for someone looking, if you're looking near the Prospect Park area, go there during like rainy days, go there during 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. A lot of time what people don't realize is that whole like area by Prospect Park is right by the 50. So you can hear a lot of freeway noise. And if you're like noise sensitive, that might not be for you. But I like Gold River. I think it's good. Will eventually I move out of Gold River? Yeah. When my daughter goes to high school, I'm probably going to look for a community that has like no HOAs, no Mellows, or an $84 something type Mellows or a HOA that's going to enforce the CC&Rs. See, for me, I love HOAs that the only fee you're paying for is an HOA that'll enforce the CC&Rs, because if you can do that, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So now for Gold River, am I leaving anytime soon? No. Am I complaining a lot about it? Probably more than I should be. Beautiful area, really, really nice. I think the Powell homes tend to appreciate more than the other homes do. Although the other homes give you a little bit more flexibility on what you can do outside and everything too. But like I said, there are things that could really, really annoy you. Like one of the things about my wife that she hates, she's Greek, so we got a big family on her side. Is parking. You know, you can't park in the driveway overnight. You can't do street parking. You will get citations, and it can be really, really brutal. So, like, if you're someone who basically, like, you know, for example, our neighbors, they have a son who just started driving, and he's got to park his car and they have a friend's garage, so he has to park it in their garage, and so that can be a little bit of a pain. I would say the security patrols. I feel like the security patrols in Gold River, they're nice, they're good, but I think they're more about enforcing the HOAs as opposed to being really security. Um, Now for the good stuff is it's always green here. It's always like I feel very protected here. You know, I feel like as a realtor, if I left to like Zimbabwe to go sell a house, like I'd be good here. You know, my wife would be fine, daughter would be fine. They love the area, close to the elementary school as well too, Discovery. And a lot of people would be like, "What's the rating? What's the rating?" You know, honestly, for me, I can tell a school based on the teachers, based on the parents, based on the interaction. And like that school is very much loved by everybody there. And the PTO, we were just talking to someone on the PTO as well too. So I really like the school. I really like the teachers. My daughter's had amazing teachers, Mrs. Kenner, Vidland, Cadenhead. I know all of them, Mrs. Moon now. So like she's had a great time at Gold River. And not only that is like it's like she's got a little bit of a social life going on, you know, a little bit of like the excitement to go to school and everything too. And I think that's super important. Now the thing about Gold River that's kind of crazy, and this is something you might not have known, our high school is Rio. That's like our high school, which is bizarre, right? It's a little further away than most. What you're going to notice too is I would say if around seventh grade, maybe, you know, you start kind of aligning yourself to maybe go towards Folsom High because it's a little bit easier of a drive. Like Rio's kind of a drive, you know? So like, you know, Gold River did that specifically back in the day when there wasn't as much traffic. But I look at that drive from like Rio, Gold River every single day, driving and pickup, that can be a pain. Whereas like Folsom High School, probably a little bit easier. Now, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, there are two older kids who already graduated Gold River Discovery, actually went to Folsom High School, and it wasn't a big deal. So I think at this point, it's okay. Now they're putting new schools in Folsom, but I also know that Vista High School is pretty impacted at this point as well too. So other stuff about Gold River, the Racket Club is fantastic. Also Eschaton is here. So maybe one day when I start losing it, I'm there and I'm good, you know, just joking. But it's a great community. I don't have too many complaints except just for the HOA. And it's not even like, it's just the HOA can get a little crazy. I mean, I talked to this one lady who's at Minor Village, and she was like, man, people at the HOAs were screaming at each other. There's profanity. They're yelling at each other and everything too. So I would just say, just know your HOA, whichever village you're in, and just make sure that, you know, you're not in one of those HOAs that have too many of the clipboard Karens and people that are kind of crazy about that stuff. I've heard of people getting fined like $600 because they have solar lights in their front yard. So just know the HOAs. And I'd say this to anyone who's looking to personally buy a house anywhere. You're going to come in, and a lot of people come in from the Bay Area or LA, and you've never experienced an HOA, right? And you're like, HOA can't be that bad. Go over the rules in the HOAs, you know, figure that out. Talk to the neighbors also when you're like looking at the house and everything too. Figure out what the HOAs look like. You might have a plan to basically like build, like get one of those cool Costco pergolas. Gold River, you can't do that. You actually have to have a pergola in the backyard that flows with the design of the Powell homes. And so I would say this straight up. Make sure you go through those HOA documentations. Make sure you talk to people. Make sure that if you have plans to do something, that it's going to be allowed in your HOA. Inside the house, I mean, you can pretty much do what you want to do. I mean, I haven't run into too many problems with that. But when it comes to the backyard area and all that stuff, you know, you definitely have to go through, and it can be restrictive. So those are the things that I would say would be the best things. Am I looking to leave Gold River anytime soon? No. 5 years, high school. I think at that point in time, Gold River, in my opinion, will have peaked. And then I'm probably going to move to maybe some other market. That's kind of what I do. That's what realtors kind of do. I think Gold River was completely, I still think, and I think for the next few years, Gold River is going to be completely undervalued. And I think it's a great market to jump into. We've been putting a lot of people in Gold River. I think you'll be happy with it. I think the only thing though, I might see you at Bel Air and you might say like, you were right about the HOAs. But other than that, I think you picked good. Gold River's in a great spot. SMUD, nice community also too. So hopefully you enjoy it. I have. But like I said, HOA is a little much. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Can HOA and Melrose increase during the duration of owning a home? Absolutely. HOAs can. HOAs kind of function just like a budget, right? You have enough money there. And for example, like let's say you want to get some stuff done in your village. Yeah, it can go up. It has to pay for it somehow. So yeah, that stuff can go up. You'll notice in Gold River, every single village has a different HOA. And that's just because of budgeting, expenses, and all that stuff too. So they can go up. Now, the difference between HOAs and Melrose is like Melrose will be thrown on you and you don't have a choice. Melrose will just basically be like, we're putting in a school over there, whether you like it or not, you're going to be paying that. HOAs are a little bit more of a vote. Now, a lot of people don't like being on the HOA board, but for me, like, I need to know exactly what's going to happen in my community and what I'm voting on, because a lot of times you're going to like get this like increase and you won't even know what it is. And it's like you can't really do much about it except for the next vote. It could have been passing, it could be a whole problem. So I would say for your HOAs, sit in on a meeting, just figure out what it's like, talk to the neighbors, say, are the HOAs kind of a pain as far as the rules and regulations? That would be the hugest thing that I'd say about getting into an HOA. Is it the end of the world? No. Honestly, there's a lot of people that love HOAs, and there's a lot of things about the HOA that I do like, right? The security, the protection, like not the protection, the security, the privacy. It just seems like everything's always maintained a little bit as well too here. Even though, you know, I mean, my dog's more of a security than some of the some of the patrols, but still, it gives you a little bit of a peace of mind too. So I don't know. There's pros and cons. For me though, I look at it this way, right? When I get older and I'm going to be retire, like, you know, my HOA is like 350, you know, so like that's a cost that I look at and say to myself, is living in an HOA like Gold River when I'm retired, like, is that something that I'm going to want to continue paying? That's why for me, I do some videos about like HOAs and Melrose. It's not about now. It's not about, oh yeah, we moved to a community, it's awesome. But it's like when you get older and it's like, you know, your budget's a little tighter, you know, it's like then all of a sudden you have like what, a 350 Melrose and you got like a 350 HOA. There's $700 right there. So for me, that's a big one. Now let's go. Can HOAs? Yeah, Melrose can get thrown on you, another bond put on because there's another police department, park or whatever. That can definitely. Now Melrose is funny. It won't really, the bond won't, it's the bond, your Melrose bond is for specific things. Now, if there's another, for example, school being built, they could put another bond on top of that, and then you have to pay additional money. So that's kind of how Melrose works. They're taxable bonds. Now, HOAs, like I mentioned, they can increase. So I just say, you know, HOAs are a voting one. Melrose, they can just happen to you. Like I've seen some people move out of areas because all of a sudden, like they were kind of close to like the new homes and all of a sudden the school came around. So just be careful, I'd say. And like I said, if you guys have questions about Melrose specifically also, a lot of people think it's just for brand new homes, right? I've seen Melrose on homes in like the 757 in Elk Grove that have been there for like, you know, 12 years. So I would say go to the county, download the tax record of whatever house you're buying, right? Because it's available to you. It's public knowledge. So you go there and you basically grab the tax bill of the address. Like for Peyton, if you're buying a house in Gold River, go to the tax bill and see what that looks like. There's no Melrose. I mean, actually, there is some Melrose in like Gold River, but it's like, I think it's the area on Coloma, but it's like 50 cents or something. But for anyone looking and they're worried about Melrose or whatnot, I would say download the previous tax bill of the address that you're thinking about buying, and you're going to see if there's any Melrose attached to it. And that's like the best way to kind of figure out if there's Melrose on a house, especially if it's a resale house. The realtor's going to say, oh yeah, it's something like $200 a month. No. Download that tax bill, figure out the exact cost. For me, that's what I do. Like I need to know all this stuff straight up. So, okay, there we go with that. If you guys have any questions also, let me know. I wanted to kind of go through some of this stuff too. I first wanted to give a shout out to my team and then we'll get into the whole video. Okay. So these are the homes right now that we had for sale. Okay. These are the homes we've had in the last couple, like what's maybe like 6 weeks or something, 6 weeks to 2 months. And, this one, right here, boom, that one we just closed yesterday and that went for about $30,000 over list. This one right here, Elk Grove, that went, I think, for 10 over list. This one right here just closed today. That one went at list. And this one, Nikki just got an offer for, and it's an offer that we're actually going to be chipping in part of our commission to kind of get that thing closed as well too. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up is because I will tell you, there is not one team in the Sacramento area that's better than the listing agents that our team as far as listing homes. I'll say that straight up. Stick to my guns on that one. Honestly, like straight up, not even a close second. Like we've been marketing and selling houses on YouTube like crazy right now too. Majority of the people who have been purchasing these homes are from YouTube. If you guys are looking to like sell your home and you're thinking about working with a real estate team to do it, I'm going to tell you, YouTube is gold. YouTube gets you on the big screen in front of people from the Bay Area, Los Angeles, or whatnot. Whereas, Zillow on the phone, MLS stuff, it's okay. But I'm going to tell you straight up, YouTube, if your video isn't out there and it isn't marketed correctly, like it will get overlooked. I'm telling you straight up. So big shout out to my team. Super impressed with what they've been doing. It's great. All right. Next real estate group, I think I know who that is. Melrose used to be a standard 30-year bond, and we're now seeing a few 50-year bonds. I know, it's crazy. Honestly, it just goes and goes and goes. It's funny when a lot of people are like, "Yeah, when's it going to be over?" I'm like, "Man, I won't be around." Melrose is going to still keep on trucking. But now here's the thing. Melrose, of course, no one likes paying it. Everyone thinks the builder should be paying more of it and everything too. But I'll tell you something. Like, you guys don't realize the amazing like environment that the Melrose is going to be paying for. Like Sacramento by 2030, 2035 will be the spot. Like you have to understand, like areas like LA, they don't have the land. The Bay Area doesn't have the land. We got the land. And what I've been finding more not is the stuff that they're creating here, like the Folsom Sports Center. Like, we got the Amtrak that's probably going to have another station at like the airport. We're having all that stuff happen downtown. They're thinking about putting in another Kimpton Sawyer right next to that pyramid building in West Sacramento. There's so many things like happening in the Sacramento area. Placer One, the Placer Vineyard area as well too. East Ridge and El Dorado Hills. I know a lot of people aren't happy about that. There's just so much stuff. And then you got the Connector Project, which I'm going to interview the head of the Connector Project as well too in a future video. So for me, I'm just like loving it. I'm saying to myself, like, yeah, Melrose ain't great. Nobody loves to pay for it, but we're creating something from scratch. Sacramento 2030, 2035 is just going to be phenomenal, off the hook. It's going to be destination spot all day long. I also think that Folsom, based on the location in Rancho, I think with the connector going right through it, it's going to add so much to the Sacramento area that I'm super excited for it. So like I said, I love the idea. And it mainly comes because we actually have the land to build, right? So we can build really amazing things. We can build sports complexes. We can build new hotels, new entertainment areas, new parks, new schools. A lot of these areas that are in California that are amazing, like Los Angeles, San Diego, like San Francisco, they don't have the land to do this. So we can build everything from that's brand new and make this spot that we live in amazing. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm here. I just see the potential in Sacramento and what it's going to be like 2030. Hopefully I'm still doing this YouTube show, but it's gonna be fantastic. All right. Wildfire, love Orangevale. I do too. I actually drove by Orangevale. I was driving up Hazel, which turned into Sierra. And it was interesting though. If you look at one of my favorite communities in Orangevale, well, there's two. There's one that's kind of right on the water as you overlook kind of Lake Natoma. I love that part of Orangevale. I think that's overlooked. The other one is that community Woodbridge. It's right on the kind of the line of Grant Bay and Orangevale. Oh, I love that area as well too. I think those areas are going to be developed too. Although I think Hazel, like I said, I did in a video before, I think Hazel is brutal. I think Sunrise is brutal as well too. Hopefully they do something with those streets and we get a little bit more. I think the biggest problem in Sacramento is going to be our traffic eventually getting there. Like I said, we're not LA. We're not like a San Francisco, but Hazel is kind of a bear. Sunrise, completely same way. Bradshaw as well too. And then, we haven't even mentioned the 6580 and all that stuff too. So that's kind of one of those things. Okay. So I want to run through with you guys too. If you guys are thinking about making a move to Sacramento, I made the move here 15 years ago. And I loved it. Love it, love it, love it. And, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I love this area. I love the growth. I love the potential. I love being on the ground floor of this whole area. Love the people here. Love the price point. Love California. So I'm staying put. Now, For me, here's what I would do. If I were you guys, and let's say like you're someone in the Bay Area and you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'd give Sacramento a shot. Here's what I would do. And this would be how, if I could go back in a time machine, this is probably what I would do. I wouldn't talk at this point. I wouldn't talk to any realtor and I wouldn't talk to any lender. 9 out of 10 times you're going to find a realtor or a lender that's going to blow up your phone, blow up your email, and make your life, you're going to really just regret reaching out to them. We're not like that, but then again, that's me telling you about me. So you take that for a grain of salt. All right. So I wouldn't talk to a realtor. I wouldn't talk to a lender. I'd plan a weekend trip. Okay. Don't go tourist. Don't go to the place like old Sacramento. Don't do any of that stuff. Right. I would say focus in on the job areas of Sacramento, school areas of Sacramento, and figure out freeways. Like if you say, okay, you know what, my job's going to be in Roseville, right? You know, where do I want to live? Look at the niche communities and all that stuff too. Now, here's the thing also, you can get this stuff information from like Zillow and everything too, but I'd also figure out what price points are you looking at and what areas, communities, neighborhoods make sense for you to look at. Example, if you're looking for something like under like $800,000 and you want like maybe a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and you're looking in like Los Lagos, you shouldn't be looking in Los Lagos. So kind of figure out exactly like, okay, look, this is our budget. This is what we're looking at. Let's outline the communities. Let's look at the parks. Let's look at the schools. Let's also GPS that thing during 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock, whatever the work hours are that we need to work. That's one thing that I wish I would have done ahead of time. I wish I would have figured out exactly like, you know, where, like based on my budget, what areas would work for me at the time. That's one thing I didn't. I just drove in areas. I'm like, this is pretty. I wonder how much this is. Ooh. And I wasted my time. The weekend that you come up there should be very much like, you know, every moment should count. I would say go maybe like, I don't know, maybe look at the communities and everything too. And then at the end of the day, if you've narrowed it down, communities and everything too, then I would look at like, I'd go shopping at Target, I'd go have dinner, and I'd vibe out the community, feel them out a little bit, see if these are your people, right? If you're looking at them going like, yeah, this works. If you're getting a lot of the highs, oh my God, all that stuff too. Feel out every area. Every area is different in Sacramento. And at times, a lot of people might not think so, right? A lot of people are thinking, just Sacramento is flat. It's dry. It's on the way to Tahoe. Totally the biggest misconception of Sacramento. And for those people that can get over that misconception, you're going to really love Sacramento. Like, it's funny. It's like, you know, it's just, it's such BS, right? Like I fell into that. And like I said, my biggest regret was not doing this sooner, but I didn't think about it. I was like driving through, going to Tahoe. It looks flat. It looks dry. I'm not having it. And I didn't explore. I didn't see the golf course communities on the water, all these things like Serranos, like, you know, like everything around here, like the pocket. I didn't explore, and you need to explore. I would also test out the weather if you can. I think straight up the make it or break it time of the weather is going to be the heat. Everything else for me, I mean, it's just kind of like normal. Honestly, it's like, you know, it's wet when it should be, it's dry when it should be, yada, yada. But the biggest make it or break it, I'd say for people is like coming around here, maybe like, I don't know, maybe June-ish, July-ish when it's really, really hot, and spending a good 2 or 3 days here and seeing if it's enough for you. I'd say the weather for sure. Boom. That would be that. So as far as that stuff goes, I'd also watch some of the videos that we've done and figure out also PG&E versus SMUD. Do you go Sacramento County? Do you go Placer County? Do you go Roseville Electric? Like I said, also the other big thing is like, let's say, for example, you love Auburn. Does Auburn have fiber? Internet, right? I mean, if you got 5 kids and they're all jumping on the internet and all that stuff too, fiber is essential. For me, I wouldn't move anywhere there wasn't fiber, or at least something that was just rocket fast, because like I said, I do this live broadcast and my daughter is doing this, my wife's doing that. So it's crazy. So I'd say internet. Now I'd say for the most part, if you're moving to Sacramento, you got to realize one thing. Sacramento is a driving city. We don't have a lot of transit. So if you're driving around here and you're thinking to yourself, there's something missing. Yeah, there's buses missing. There's all that stuff too. So it's a driving city. Considerations on driving is that 3-car garages tend to be a little bit more important. I would also say that like roadways and access needs to be a little bit more important, and just realizing the fact that you just can't hop on a bus and get from point A to point B. I mean, some places you can, but it's a rarity. What else would I do? Also insurance prices too. A lot of people are freaking about home insurance. Make sure that whatever area you're looking at the heat map to see exactly if you're going to be in a fire zone or if it's going to be brutal. and realize that in Natomas is the one area that you're going to need flood insurance, which runs about $100 a month. So that would be my first trip. Boom. Weekend, checked all that stuff out. Then I would start interviewing realtors straight up. Interview them, talk to them, see if you vibe with them, all that stuff too. Interview with realtors and interview with lenders. Then if you're working with us, we normally do a strategy session, which involves maybe 2 or 3 weekends, 3 or 4, 2 or 3 trips. We talk a little about price points. We talk about what communities you saw, neighborhoods you saw, what makes sense. And then we start looking for like off-market opportunities for you and everything too. I would also say like, after that, you should at least have your next couple trips planned out. And also the timing. What's your timing look like? Summer, spring, and timing it against like how our buyer demand looks and when houses are being put on the market. That's the stuff that I kind of wish I would have kind of jumped into. I just kind of drove in here, looked around and said, this looks pretty, let's do it. And for me, I think if I had done it differently, I love Gold River. I think I would have probably maybe ended up maybe in like a Whitney Ranch, might have ended up in Serrano, but it's like I didn't do the exploring. And so explore, have fun. I know this is a stressful thing, and I know moving from point A to point B is always a stressful thing, but try to enjoy the journey and enjoy the idea that, you're really looking to find that spot for your family, your kids. And like I said, if you're coming in from the Bay, if you're coming from LA and you want to buy one of those big monster houses, you want to buy one of those big monster houses in the area that you absolutely love as well. So that would be my strategy session. That's what I would tell you guys if you guys were moving into the area. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about it, let me know, but that'd be me. All right, let's go. I plan on moving to the 757. Oof, that is an explosive zip code. All right, in Elk Grove. It's a realistic possible to time purchasing a new build home in November and December when my lease ends in January. I would give it about a month buffer. Yeah, I think it's possible. The nice thing about leases, though, you have a tendency also to do the month to month after your year's over. So hopefully you can jump one of those things in. But for new builds, here's where it gets kind of tricky, especially during the time of the year you're mentioning. Weather, right? Weather sometimes can push build times and everything too. I always say usually plan for like a month and a half. They're going to tell you, oh my God, everything looks great, fantastic, everything's getting on time. But I always tell my clients, give yourself like a month to a month and a half buffer. And that tends to work out a lot better. But I'd say Elk Grove 757, I'd say if you're looking for the best deals in new homes, it's usually towards Q4. It's usually when they're giving the best deals. I would say for me, let me think, if you jumped into something that was, and also here's the thing about new homes as well too. I always find that even though people love the idea of building it from like the ground up, I would say the best deals are going to be the stuff they want to get rid of ASAP, the stuff that's sitting on the market. So that's another thing, but I think you can time it. Just give yourself a little bit of a buffer, month and a half. Now, another thing to note is you don't start paying your mortgage payment the second you walk in the home. Usually it's about 45 days to like 60 days for your first mortgage payment. So you can also use that alignment with your buffer as well too. So hopefully that helps. And like I said, we're like a true relocation team. And I stress this to a lot of people. Like 90% of our business, our buyer side business, is moving people from like, I don't know, internationally, nationally to Sacramento. We coordinate the sales of their houses over there. We coordinate when they're moving here. We coordinate everything. So for us, if you're working and you're thinking about making the move here, work with someone who like is a relocation person that knows these little things that they need to watch for. Like what I'm noticing more than non-Sacramento, because we are kind of a funnel market where people are coming in from like LA, from San Francisco, from Portland, whatever. Being a relocation specialist and figuring out that there's a lot of curveballs that you've already encountered, dealt with, and you know how to deal with is absolutely huge. Contingent offers and everything too. So I'd say when you're looking for a realtor here in Sacramento, you need to go with a relocation specialist, someone who really, really knows how everything works. I mean, there's been some curveballs that have thrown our way, right? Contingent deal, the deal falls out. We know the realtor on the other end, and we're able to work with him to help maybe do a video or whatnot, or help him secure a buyer on that side so we can continue the deal. With him, we can help negotiate, making sure that you stay in contract here. So working with a relocation team now in Sacramento more than ever is vital. If you're working with just a neighborhood specialist, someone who just focuses on one area as well too, guys, like one of the things that I tell you about on this channel all the time is that Elk Grove is different than Serrano. Now, the weirdest part about this is the fact that if you look at local neighborhood realtors, their business is strictly in their area. A lot of them are hyper local. A lot of people, like a lady I know up in Whitney Ranch, she sells Whitney Ranch. She probably doesn't know that much about Elk Grove. Maybe she does. I'm not saying she won't. But what I'm saying is Sacramento is so spread out that you need someone who has experience selling or, selling homes as well as putting people into homes in various areas. And a lot of times people in East Sacramento don't really know the market in El Dorado Hills and vice versa. They're going to love the price points and they might jump into it. But at the same time, you need people who have you back in the situation and know the various areas, or else you're going to be like really at a huge disadvantage. Okay, next one. Boom. All right. Ooh. How much is the average Melrose on new communities? Ooh, okay. I like this one. Okay. So the funny thing is that I think the cheapest Melrose that I'm seeing is a Richmond American community and Toll Brothers in Hidden Ridge. Year Melrose is $690. That's right. The entire year, $690, which is amazing. Now, more than not, if you gave me like every single new home community, I would probably say that you're looking between maybe $250 and maybe like $450 around there, depending. It also depends on like, size of the house and all that stuff too. So I don't know. Melrose is going to be around there. Like, and a lot of people ask me this question too. Are there any new home communities that don't have Melrose? No, I mean 99% of the new home communities in the Sacramento area, you're going to run into Melrose. I mean, you're not going to find that like spot that doesn't. Everyone has Melrose. And the biggest thing is like if you're driving to a new home community and there's like nothing around it, oh yeah, you're probably going to have really high Melrose. That's why areas like, for example, like the Woodside communities that they're building in Rancho, way out there by where they're going to be, I think they're putting in something out there. It has higher Melrose than like Elliott Homes near Costco, just because of the location, because there's not a lot of infrastructure put in. But yeah, as far as Melrose, that's kind of what you see between, I'd say, Elk Grove, you're looking around maybe 350 to 450. The KB is the highest. I don't know why, but it is. Then I'd say like the Vineyard area, maybe like 300 to 370 around there. Folsom, probably anywhere between like 250 at Regency to maybe like 450 at Taylor Morrison. So it just varies. But like I said, we do a lot of new homes. So if you have a community in mind, just let us know and I can tell you exactly or somewhat exactly what the Melrose looks like. All right. Pamela, I live in suburban Atlanta and I got your question right here teed up on the laptop, but I'll answer it like this. I live in the suburban Atlanta and I don't drive on the expressways here. Is it easy to navigate Sacramento without driving on the expressways? I'm concerned about the river cutting into certain areas. No, I mean, Folsom Boulevard will run you all the way through Hazel, Sunrise. You'll have to deal with traffic. But a lot of people like Sacramento, you can see like the 50, the 80 and like the new expressway connector they're putting in. But I think as far as we're actually working with a client whose son works in West Sacramento and they're looking to move into Gold River. And he just is basically going to shoot down Folsom Boulevard. And then he's like, he already found a route that made sense to him. Now, are you going to run into a little bit more traffic that way? Yeah, you definitely are. But for the most part, there are a lot of ways to get around Sacramento. It's just that what you're going to notice is some of those ways will equate to more traffic. But, Sacramento isn't really a hard city to navigate. At least like, for example, I was joking with my wife. We were all the way up. Where were we today? We were all the way up in like, we took Sierra, right? Hazel turns into Sierra College. So we're driving up Hazel at Gold River. Boom. We passed Orangevale, same street. Hazel, Sierra, same street. We drive up Hazel, and then all of a sudden we're like Gold River, Fair Oaks, Orangevale, Granite Bay, Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln. So like it's not really that hard of a city or hard of a area to navigate. Now the biggest part for you, I would say though, is no, because freeways aren't your thing. No, I think you're good. I think you're fine. Like I said. Once you come out here, if you want to, we can show you a little bit about like the routes. But for me, no. I mean, there's some days when I'm showing houses in Elk Grove, I'll shoot down Sunrise and I'll hit Grant Line and I'll go to Elk Grove that way or Bradshaw. Yeah, there's ways to get around here. I don't think it's that hard. I think there are some cities where you got to jump on like, the freeway. But I think Sacramento, The bad part about Sacramento is the fact that there should be more freeways and expressways, but there just isn't, which kind of plays in perfect for you because you're not really looking for that. Would I go down Sunrise at 5 o'clock? No. 9 o'clock? No. But there are ways to get there. So hopefully that answered your question. All right. Wendy, here we go. Wendy, dear Mark and Nikki, I'm proud that you're a realtor. Thank you. No problem, Wendy. And like I said, and even that condo that we were taking a look at this weekend, it was okay, but like how can I say it? Like we're with you until we find you the perfect home. And you'll know. You'll like look at it, you'll smile, and you'll be like, that's my house. And that's the one that I think everyone should wait for. That's just my own 2 cents. All right. Same with Greenback. Yeah, Greenback, same thing. Greenback and Auburn as well too. So we have our streets. You'll get around. And like I said, it's a good and bad. Some people don't like those type of streets, and they wish there was a little bit more of a freeway connected. Folsom with like a Roseville, but yeah, you're gonna see more side streets. It's pretty manageable. Like I said, the only part of it is the fact that traffic can be a little brutal over there. All right. Plan to visit Elk Grove and possibly Roseville for a day, 7 hours away to check out new communities. Any suggestions on what to look out for? First, get yourself a good realtor. Now, okay, here's what I would say. First of all, if you are planning to use a realtor, just make sure whoever you're working with, they register you at all these communities, right? That's one thing. If you are. Now, honestly, I'm not going to tell you you should or you shouldn't. Yes, we look over contracts and everything too, but some people just want to go by themselves and just figure it out. And I get that. I would say the main things to look for are how much solar is, how many panels the solar comes with, lease versus owned. I would say lot premiums. I would say also, if you are going to the 757, there's a lot of things. First of all, a lot of people that we've been working with in 757 know exactly where the zoo is, right? They're going to be bringing in like a zoo there. So would there be smells associated with the zoo? A couple of our clients were nervous about that as well too. I would say also, like, you can find all this stuff online, development plans for Elk Grove, to see what's coming to Elk Grove. So you know exactly, like for example, like let's say all of a sudden you go to Taylor and you're going to be buying a home right there. It's good to know what things are going to be popping up around you, because the 757 is going to be completely different in like 10 years. And it's good to know exactly what they're going to be building, so you don't have any crazy stuff like, oh, an apartment complex. I wish I would have kind of researched that out a little bit more. So I would say just for you, just dig in a little bit about the research on the areas. I'd say for builders too, what you're going to notice is like, and everyone always like, you always bag on builders. No, it's going to depend on which builder you're looking for in the 757. Like New Home Community's pretty good. Taylor Morrison's pretty good. Tim Lewis, you just got to work with the floor plan. And then there's more like the economic builders like KB and everything too. So you're just going to have to see which one works for you. I would say also, if you're walking into a house, like if you're walking into a Taylor house, Tim Lewis house, or whatever, these are their pristine models. These are the ones that should be solid gold, right? So just make sure you talk to the sales agent and figure out how much upgrades are in them, all that stuff too. I would say feel the granite on the countertops in the kitchen, go underneath it to make sure it's not hollowed out. I would say see if it's soft close. I know people hate that, but it just shows that there's a little bit more extra expense put in them. I would say feel the door weights as well too. Look at the edges for any dripping paint. I mean, if these things are going to be the best models there are, like they better be in amazing shape. I would also say, as far as the tile and laminate, I would say if it was laminate, especially LVP, I would take my shoe off, walk in my socks, and feel exactly how cushiony it is. That would just be me. So little things like that, I would probably check out. The other thing too is direction. Direction's a huge one too. Figure out, if you find a house that you love and you love it, just make sure that like where the sun is setting and sun is rising and all that stuff too, and all that stuff. And just make sure you're working with, like, if you're working with a sales agent directly, make sure it's a person who's actually not a temp and someone who's actually legitimately working at the community. A lot of times if someone's like, MIA or like, going to Tahoe skiing, they'll bring in temps. So just make sure, and there's nothing against temps. I mean, they're really, really good, but they don't know the product as well as the salespeople do. So those would be my little bit word of advice for you. But other than that, have fun, take a look at it, feel it out, and, hopefully find that floor plan that works for you. All right. Pamela, no problem at all. And, like I said, you're going to like it in Sacramento. I mean, we haven't moved anyone in here except for one Glenn, who was one of my favorite clients, honestly, so amazing, really a nice guy. It's just that he came in here during winter. We talked a little bit about the weather, and by the end of summer, it was just, no, it wasn't for him. So like I said, for you guys, I would definitely check out the weather here. And that's it. All right, let's get into some Q&A, and then we will be done for the night. This is going to take a while, though. All right, so here we go. We got rates. All right, we got this going. So this isn't about your rate, but this is about how it's looking. Okay, so we're in 6 territory right now. We've been in there for a little bit, but now all of a sudden we've seen a little bit of a zigzag. The rates are going a little bit up right now too. So just keep in mind that if you're expecting the market to kind of like go bye-bye and all of a sudden rates go down to 6.5, it's a little bit of a gamble. Do I think they could go down to 5%? No. Do I think they could dip lower than they are now? They possibly could, but at the same time, I wouldn't focus too much on like what's going to happen in a week, 2 weeks. Oh, my buddy said Jerome Powell is going to drop the rates. I mean, like, focus on the now, focus on if you're looking to buy, if it's your time to buy. Don't time the market, time your life. And if it's the right time for you, you know, I would say make your move as opposed to waiting for spring rush. If it's your time, right? Now I'm not saying rush the purchase, but just kind of figure it out. At the end of the day, you know, if rates do drop, like let's say we're like 6.2, 7 months down the road, refinance, at least you're into the house. And if we go to 6.2, guys, demand is going to be nuts. So that's just something to keep in mind too. All right, guys, if you're enjoying the broadcast, smash that like button. Myself and the Hulk hand that I have here would very much appreciate it. So would the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's get on with it. Boom. All right, like I said, these homes, and like I said, you got Alana, you got Nikki, and you got Michelle putting these things down, and they've been doing fantastic. So best listing agents in all of Sacramento, bar none. Pepsi challenge with anyone. All right, Friday video coming. What do you guys want to see? Like I said, guys, I'm going to start putting polls to see what you guys want to see. Bar down. Oh, okay. I'm going to start putting polls based on, for the most part, what videos you guys want to see. So just let me know, right? I'm going to give you guys some options, and then you guys can choose what you want me to do. Now, here's the thing that I'm actually doing. I contracted out the best drone guy there is in Sacramento, bar none. And I'm actually going to contract him out to basically do drone videos of the various areas in Sacramento. He did some of Elk Grove. They're phenomenal. Auto Mall, Sky River Casino, all the construction. So that stuff he's already got. Now, if you guys want areas to basically like, you want to just see that whole like drone stuff and see the footage and the areas, let me know too. I can have him go out there and do some drone footage, and I can incorporate it into a video that I can drop on Friday as well too. What I'm doing on this channel is for you guys. So if you guys want to direct me and say, ah, man, Mark, you know what? I love East Sacramento. Can you show some drone footage of East Sacramento and lead us through the areas? I'm here for you. So you just let me know what you guys want to do. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a pro and con video of Sacramento. Done a few of them. Is it different 2005, 2025? I think it is. I think based on a lot of other people's pros and cons videos, I think it's the same stuff, but I think there's a lot of different stuff that's happening to the market that I'd love to incorporate into this new pro and con video. So if by tomorrow morning, pros and cons are still the #1 choice, and you can see it in the post that I do, I will be doing a pro and con video. It's going to be no BS. And a lot of the stuff that are like no brainers, like the heat, right? Like I'm going to just knock those things out at the very, very beginning. And we're going to go deep into like some of the projects that are coming to Sacramento, traffic, where to buy, all that stuff too. So I want to kind of go deep into this and not make it a BS pros and cons video. So if that one wins by tomorrow, that's the one I'll drop on Friday, and it should be good. All right, next one. Is West Sacramento a good place to buy currently? My 20-year-old nephew bought this starter home in West Sac. As long as good people keep buying and improving the area, it will continue to be a good investment. Love, love, love West Sacramento. A's are coming in. I like the West Sacramento area, Delta Breezes. So for me, I think West Sacramento is a great, great spot. I put in a friend of mine into the West Sacramento area, brand new home by Century. And he loves the area, loves his home, close to downtown. So yeah, for me, I think the West Sacramento area, especially with the A's coming in and all the downtown development, like I said, if they do that in West Sacramento, put a Kimpton Sawyer near the pyramid in West Sacramento, and we create like a river walk, ooh, West Sacramento all the way. All right, next one. Are there many affordable housing options in Sacramento? There's some in Rancho, but I was told not to buy there. I don't know why. All right, we're going to go deep into this one because this one is going to be interesting. There are things that people might hear: rendering, Kiefer landfill, all these things too. Amazon Center being built and everything too. Now, I would research what I just mentioned to you. Um, but for me, Rancho, based on price point, based on the connector coming in and everything, I think there's no better bang for your buck in all of the Sacramento area. I think Rancho's amazing for the price point, being that close to Folsom, Elk Grove schools. You're going to get a couple new schools built between Folsom Ranch and Rancho. I think the price point was phenomenal last October, and I still think it's pretty solid. Went out to Pulte and filmed a few homes. You get yourself like what's called a 6-7 bedroom house that has one of those like entries where you see the staircase and all that stuff for like $700,000. You can't get that price point in Folsom, and soon you're not gonna be able to get that price point in Elk Grove. So for me, no, you can't even get that now in Elk Grove. Pardon me. Like Rancho for me is that spot. Rancho is close enough to everything. Like Costco's close by. The what's called the brewery district that they're doing as well too. Fun activities, soccer fields and everything too. I like the area. I think it's phenomenal. And I think as far as like that area for incentives, they're still giving pretty good incentives. Vineyard slowed down a little bit on their incentives. West Roseville did as well too. So for me, I think Rancho's phenomenal. I think for the bang for your buck out there, like, and remember when I say bang for your buck, I'm saying like, does it compete against like a $2 million home in Granite Bay? Different markets, different vibe. But as far as like what they're offering there, like that you can get something at those price points and have the schools, the location, the growth potential. For me, I like Rancho and I think it's great. But again, I would say anywhere you decide to buy, like don't, and this is harsh, but I will be honest with this. Like you need to do a lot of your own research on it, or you have to talk to realtors that really have your back on this stuff. We have a client who just went into contract at Rancho and Elliott at a resale home. But I can tell you this, if he buys that home and he ends up with that home, he will not have any gotchas after the fact because he worked with our team. So I would say straight up for you guys, one of the big things is just like do a lot of research. A lot of the sales agents are going to be kind of useless when it comes to that stuff because legally, fair housing, you can't really go into it. So I would say it's kind of up to you guys to do your like due diligence on it or work with a real estate team like ours that has your back. That would just be my 2 cents on it. All right. Dun, dun, dun. All right. We got questions coming in. If you guys have more questions too, let me know. All right, Mark, in your experience, what are the average rental comps in 957, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, single family home between 224? I'd say you're looking between, I'd say 28 to 32, maybe a little more than that, depending on what the backyard looks like and but I'd say somewhere around there. I think that's good. I think yeah, probably around there, maybe a little higher, now maybe you can get maybe as much as maybe 34, but that's probably what I would say would be realistic. Now, here's the thing for you, Goon50. If you are having kind of questions about this, I kid you not, like next week, I got a buddy of mine, Corey. He will give you to the dime how much you can rent these things for. And like I said, we're starting an investment and commercial channel alongside with this channel. But at the same time, I haven't met anyone in Sacramento. Him and Matt are like, they can pinpoint it to the penny. So if you want to, I can connect you up with them as well too. But that would be just my estimation based on the people that we've moved in, investors that have actually decided to rent the properties out by themselves. Now that's without a property manager. All right. Carlos, how's it going, boss? Been super busy, but let's talk soon. Hey, no problem. Busy is good. If you're in the real estate market and you're busy, it's always a good thing. All right, Dan, how you doing? We live in Rancho next to the river and the high school. We love it. Like I said, Rancho is awesome. Like for me, Gold River, like I said, beautiful area. HOA is a little bit much. Areas in Rancho that I like also. I love the Sun River area. If we would have found a house there, probably would have gone there as well too. I think Rancho's great. I think for anyone who's looking for that house, I think there's some areas that are overlooked. The Rosemont area, College Glen area. I don't know, guys, like Sacramento is really an amazing spot. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of the times people will basically comment about areas in Sacramento, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that area." Like, you got the Pocket, you got like the Laguna area, Elk Grove, that I think is like completely overlooked at times. I think you got like what's called Lincoln. We haven't even touched base on Lincoln either. So I mean, I don't know, guys. I think we're all kind of in a great spot in Sacramento. When you see a lot of areas right now that are getting hit, right? A lot of areas that are like, your Floridas, a lot of places in Texas that are getting hit. Isn't it interesting? I don't know if you guys have seen the videos I've been dropping regarding the projects, all the stuff that they're building here in Sacramento. Like, we're on the rise. We're on the move here too. For me, I love that, especially as someone who bought a home. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I love the area. I was watching this video on this one lady who has a channel like living in Las Vegas. The only thing that she could focus on was basically the prices here are dirt cheap. The prices here are dirt cheap. And that she was comparing them to like, Southern California, the Bay Area. Guys, the thing about Sacramento that's awesome is if you are someone who likes California, like the best bang for your buck is in Sacramento. And it's not just you move to Sacramento to get an affordable home. It's just the fact that you're like an hour and 20 minutes from Tahoe. You got Apple Hill during the fall season. You got American River. You got Sacramento River. You got Folsom Lake. You got Lake Natoma. You have like a little fledgling of wine country going on close to Napa. I mean, we've got everything here at our fingertips. So for me, absolutely love the area. All right. Next one. Thanks for making this video, Mark. We currently plan on moving from Pleasanton. All right. To Roseville. Two components I'd love to have you confirm are the weather and allergies, and the IT weather, allergies, and the IT job market in Roseville. Okay. So as far as the job market in Roseville, if you're looking to be IT like support in some of the companies in Roseville, that's probably good. I'd say my main thing for anyone IT wise is work at a state agency. And I'm talking like a lot of people assume like, oh, at the state agencies, you're not gonna be making that much money or whatnot. Now, I have a buddy, Brett. He does really, really well working for the state, and he does like Cisco routing and all that stuff too. He's like a high up there too. I would say the other company that like is near Roseville is Oracle in Rockland. But I'd say for the most part in Roseville specifically, if you want to work in Roseville in IT, you're probably going to find some small shops over there too, or do support for some of the big companies there. But that would be the main IT thing. I think for IT stuff, you're still looking at like Folsom. You're probably looking a little bit maybe in like downtown Sacramento area and like up to 50 at some of the government buildings. That would be probably the main area of tech that for me, where I would be kind of focusing in on. Now, as far as the weather goes, boom, how's this? 10-day allergy forecast just for you. I would say, here's the thing about Sacramento. Do we have certain like, spring, fall kind of seasons that the allergies are a little bit much? I would say the main time you need to be focused in for allergies is probably during like, if we have a fire season here, a couple weeks where, it's a little hazy and the weather is not great. But for the most part, I have bad allergies. I don't really feel them as much. So for me, like, is it fantastic all year long? No. Fall, spring, it tends to hit me, but not to the point where I'm like, dying. So for me, that's kind of what I've seen. I would say down areas like the Land Park area in Sacramento with all these trees and everything too, you're probably gonna get a little bit more allergies. But no, I've never had that much of a problem. I have allergies. My daughter has allergies, and it's never been brutal. I'd say moderate. I'd say fall, spring, probably going a little bit towards the high, but for the most part, this is kind of what it looks like right now. So hopefully that helps. Are there many affordable housing options in Elk Grove, guys? You had to buy about 8 or I think that's right on. Like, here's the thing that we're seeing right now is that a lot of people are throwing away. I'm seeing a lot of these, like, these YouTube videos where it's like affordable. I think I've done a few, just hitting myself with that too. Here's how it works. Are we affordable in comparison to other areas in California, like your LAs, your San Diegos, your San Franciscos, San Jose's? Yes, 100%. You could sell yourself, like you could sell a $2 million condo over there and you can buy whatever you want here in Sacramento. Are we affordable comparatively towards like Texas and Florida? No, they're going to look at our prices and go like, too much. Now, on the other side of it, I would never move to Texas and I'd never move to Florida. the weather, the hurricanes, all that stuff going on, that just isn't my thing. For me, I realize living in California, we do have it good here, whether people like to admit it or not. Our climate is amazing, right? Yeah, it gets a little hot during winter, hop in your pool. But for the most part, we have a climate, a nice atmosphere. If I want to see the ocean, I'm like at Stinson Beach in Marin. If I want to go skiing, hour and 20 minutes away, I'm good. Wine country's close by. Everything is at your fingertips. It does not get better than the California lifestyle. So yeah, it is more expensive than Texas. And, you know, even if those McMansions can lure even the best of us in. Now, as far as Sacramento being affordable in general for people who grew up in Sacramento, I'd say the same thing. Like, I don't think if you lived in Sacramento and you had a like job in Sacramento, I think the job, you know, your increase, maybe you may, this is like your raise, you know, and the house prices shot up. So I think if someone lived in Sacramento and they're looking at the house prices now, one is you're not believing what these houses are going for now, but you probably deep down realize that, you know, it's not realistic anymore. You're looking towards areas like maybe Plumas and Linda and everything too. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the truth of it. I mean, a lot of people like to sugarcoat it, but that's it. Like if I lived in Sacramento and I grew up and let's say I just got myself like a restaurant job, or let's say I got myself like, or even I started my company in Sacramento, I just think that housing prices shot up. And now in Sacramento, I don't know if you can really attach the word affordable to Sacramento for people who grew up in Sacramento. So that's it. All right. Goon 50. Are there any finance jobs in Sacramento and greater Sacramento? Oh yeah. Finance jobs, tons. Like you're talking about the state capital. So as far as that stuff goes, yeah. We work with a lot of people also who do remote finance jobs like CPA work and everything too. So I think you will be okay. My buddy Nick over at Merrill Lynch, he can talk to you and tell you a little bit more about that as well too. Oak Park, still dirt cheap, laugh out loud. Yeah, I know. But how long? How long? I mean, Oak Park, you know, you got like what? It's going to be like downtown is developing, it's growing. You know, I still think that whole area, the East Sacramento Arden area is soft right now. But honestly, like, you know, I think what we're going to see is, and a lot of people said this about Marin City in Marin County and Marin City. Now you can't get anything underneath like $1.2 million there. So I don't know. I'd say I'm a big believer in buying in areas that are the most affordable, that have the most growth potential, that are close to things. And for me, Oak Park, the area right next to Tahoe Park, I like. All right. Boom. Biggest mistakes when moving to Sacramento. Can't wait to leave Sacramento, California. Well, tell me how Texas is. And when the humidity, tornadoes, and hurricanes or whatever they have there drive you crazy, give me a call and we'll move you back in. Although it might be hard. All right. These people are the problem in the United States. The little guys are barely making it. This is what I'm telling you guys too. And this comment is right on, you know, like if you grew up in Sacramento, it's not affordable anymore to buy a house here. Unless you did really, really well. Like it's not. And it's a shame because I suffered the same thing in Marin. You know, I wanted to grow up, live in Marin, all my friends there, and all my friends started to leave Marin because it became so unaffordable. So I get it. I would say though, you're looking, if it was me and I was looking at this, I'd be looking at areas like Linda, Plumas, you know, like Olivehurst, all those areas for me, I think are going to be so up and coming. Galt, their new community, the Meritage community. I think Galt is amazing. You know, yeah, I think there are options. Okay. Sacramento Kings lifestyle at the residence at the Sawyer. Yeah. This is one of my favorite videos. The Kings actually have a secret, the Sawyer, there's a secret tunnel that brings you all the way underneath the Golden One. Really, really cool. Was I allowed in the tunnel? No, but I saw the purple footprints and we got to the barrier and then it was fun, but it's cool. Really, really fun. Love this video. Shows a side of Sac that I never knew existed, but hope did. It does. And honestly, guys, this, in my opinion, is going to be something that you're going to see a pop in Sacramento even more for like, if they start developing out like a Riverwalk, another Kimpton style hotel. Downtown is going to just be off the hook pretty soon. So I don't know. I'm loving it. All right. Leaving Los Angeles for Sacramento. By the way, a shout out to my fun guests last week. They were amazing. And like I said, I'm excited to have him here in Sacramento. He's a YouTuber as well too. He has a channel that has even more subscribers than I do. And so hopefully if you're watching, put the link below so people can take a look at it. All right. Folsom, California. Yeah, Folsom guys, if you haven't seen this Folsom video I dropped and you guys are at all interested in video in Folsom, California, I can tell you this. I've done a bunch of videos in Folsom. I've even checked out a lot of other YouTubers' videos in Folsom. This video that I did in Folsom is probably one of my proudest videos that I ever put out. It is, if I was looking to move into Folsom, this is what I would watch. Gaslight Co. Bar in Folsom is fire. I got to check out some more of these spots. I'm just not let out of the house after 6, except for YouTube lives. All right, guys, if you're enjoying the broadcast, smash that like button. Again, it would mean a whole lot to me and that YouTube algorithm that keeps telling me to have you guys smash that like button. All right, leaving Los Angeles. That's what I keep telling my husband. Let's go to Folsom, Sacramento. And he's contemplating the idea of visiting, at least for now. I'll keep showing him homes. I'm going to tell you, one of the things about Sacramento is you got to get here. There's so much like misdirection and information about Sacramento. It's one of the reasons why it took me so long to get here. You know, I was like, everyone's like hating on Sacramento. I'm not getting out there. And I think for me, like coming out here, just come out here for the weekend. And I kid you not, the conversion rate of people who first arrive in Sacramento and are like, to like, I'm moving here. I love it here. It's awesome. I mean, super high conversion rate. So I'd say get out here, have fun, figure it out. Like, you know, go to the water if you want to, you know, go to some of the wineries in Sacramento and Elk Grove and everything too. And have some fun. Go to a Kings game. I mean, it's really, really a fun vibe here. All right. This is a really good show. This is Pamela again. I was hoping to find my dream home. I believe Sacramento would be a good fit for them. Hoping to, I hope the couple will find their dream home. I believe Sacramento would be a good fit for them. I think they're pretty sold on Sacramento too. I think the funny thing about them is they just got to get out here a little bit more and kind of feel it out. And, you know, for them, they're thinking about maybe renting, maybe buying. I think it's up to you guys. Don't let a realtor convince you to buy. If you're feeling like renting and exploring the area makes a lot more sense for you. You're going to know it. You're going to feel the market. You know, you're going to feel the areas. I don't think I'd move. Like if, for example, I was leaving to somewhere in California and I didn't know the area, I probably would rent for a little bit until I got my bearings, figured out where I wanted to live. I mean, guys, this is a huge, huge purchase. So either spend the time educating yourself and exploring the area, or maybe renting is a better spot. Yeah. Okay. I have a question regarding, I think we covered this. Let me see. What knows how easy to navigate Sacramento. Yeah. And like I said, for me, Sacramento, I'm concerned about the river possibly being a problem, maybe cutting into certain street areas. Now it's not really, I mean, I haven't seen too much of that. The only areas that I've seen that happen is like, you know, a little bit on Douglas, maybe 3 years ago. I'd say a little bit more of the farmy areas in Sacramento, but I think for the most part, you don't see too much of that. Especially on the main arteries, like your Hazels and your Sunrises. All right. Thanks for being awesome, Sacramento host. We cannot wait to move there. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to get here. It's gonna be fun. And I apologize. I'm going in. It's funny right now. I'm kind of in talks to maybe stay with my brokerage or leave my brokerage. So I was going through a big hoopla last week. I still am. I'm interviewing different brokerages as well too. So last week was brutal. This week is starting to be a little brutal, and it's just, yeah, it should be a fun one though. Okay. Old Natomas has huge yards and lots. Again, for me, Old Natomas, also like, you know, North Natomas. I love that area. And I think with all the stuff being built there, you got Topgolf that's going to be showing its head in Natomas sooner than later. A big entertainment center over there too. I like Natomas. I've always said it's a good spot. Now, the only thing with Natomas is that it is one of the areas in Sacramento that you have flood insurance, runs you maybe 100, 120 a month. So just a heads up. But yeah, I love the Natomas area. All right. Do you love the historical downtown area with local shops and restaurants? They're doing a big revamp of that area as well too. I think they're putting something like $14 million to revamping the buildings, the structures, and everything too. I think that area, you know, they let it go a lot, right? But I think that area right there near the water, I mean, Rio Cafe is out there too. I think if they just cleaned that up a little bit and made it really, really a nice spot, you could draw in so many people. And I think it would be such a draw for Sacramento in general. So hopefully they do that. Leaving Los Angeles for Sacramento. Great couple, and what a fantastic show. I appreciate it. Thanks. And guys, if you're enjoying this show we're on right now, smash that like button. It would mean a lot to me. All right, LA or Sacramento? No. I hope you like extreme hot weather, no water, police, and only go after people with jobs and homeless people on every corner. Good luck, friend. Okay, here's the thing I'll tell you straight up. Anywhere you decide to move into, there's going to be gotchas. Get out to Sacramento if you're moving to Sacramento. Get out to like LA if you're moving to LA. Get educated, figure it out. Get a little bit of a roadmap wherever you want to live. There's always going to be gotchas. Now, working with a good realtor, working with a good team, like I said, tooting our own horn again too. I don't know if I've ever, I think we're the number one real estate team in Sacramento as far as relocations and everything else go. Like, work with people that have actually worked relocating people in, because like everyone on my team has relocated to Sacramento. And we have those eyes of people who are coming in and what are things that are important to people. Like a lot of the people that I work with in the Bay Area, because I live there, I get it. I'm an enthusiast of Sacramento, and I could tell them what I liked, what I didn't like coming from the Bay Area. Michelle, LA. So like, we get that people have different needs when they're coming in from different areas, and things are very much things that are priorities to you, things that are the pain points to you. Sometimes local realtors are like this and they don't really see it. So one of the things we like to bring to the table is that. So that's enough. All right. Better LA than Bay Area people. Guys, honestly, one of the things about LA, one of the things about the Bay Area for me, the funniest thing about Sacramento is Sacramento people, these comments are funny to me because a lot of times, like, one of the things that all the clients I move in from LA, all the people from Bay Area, you know what they say? The first thing they say to me about Sacramento people, they're so amazing. They're so nice. They're so courteous. They're waving. We're talking to them and having a good time. So, for me, a lot of the Bay Area people moving in, a lot of people from LA, I'll tell you something, they love Sacramento people. And so do I. All right, here we go. Video got Matt. Very interesting that people are leaving LA to move to Sacramento was amazing up until the last decade or so. It is a majority changing, bringing many of the negatives of the Bay Area and LA. It's an interesting one. And this is a completely valid point, right? I think that Sacramento right now is changing. Like, whether we like it or not, it's moving in a direction of like, it's just growing, changing, developing. I think there is a little bit of me that says that we're putting in too many new homes, right? I think like East Ridge and the top of, El Dorado Hills, that ain't great. I think there are certain communities, I think there is a little bit that we should be maybe slowing down a little bit. I get the fact that I'm always enthusiastic about things that are being built here and everything too. And I think that there is, though, a good, happy medium. Because what I noticed myself when I grew up in like living in Marin, it was like, we started building houses on all these hills, all these areas that shouldn't have houses. And we lost a lot of that like beauty, Northern California beauty. And I would hate to see like Folsom Ranch just be like homes everywhere, right? No paths to mountain bike or like none of that stuff too. So, hopefully like we can figure out a good, happy medium, because it would really, really be a shame. All right. We used to be a community of people who wave at each other. It used to be, crime, used to be a tight community, not anymore. Anyone who grew up in Sacramento hates it now. And that's a shame, honestly. Like, I think Sacramento is changing, whether anyone, wants it or not. It's a shame. The thing is too, I think that like at times what you notice is people that grow up in areas, it's just the identity of the area kind of changes. And it is a little bit of a shame that does happen. And now, we're getting an influx of people. There's going to be additional traffic happening in Sacramento as well too. I mean, when you look at it right now, from like maybe 3 years ago, they're putting like 30,000 new homes in Folsom, same in West Roseville, same in Elk Grove, more in West Sacramento, a lot in El Dorado Hills, and then we haven't even hit Lincoln. So there is going to be this influx of people coming in here, because unlike most markets, like let's say in LA, right? People will sell houses, move out, people will buy the houses, and the inventory stays somewhat the same. I mean, they have some new homes, but not as many as we do. We're basically getting a whole bunch of new people into this area, and it's going to be an interesting ride for sure. And like I said, hopefully we get at least a happy medium, because like I said, I don't want to lose any of the natural beauty that brought me to Sacramento in the first place. Like, I remember driving the El Dorado Hills and just being like jaw on the ground, like sunrise and sunset, and people, communities like Briggs Ranch, Currow Downs, that, when I moved a buddy of mine out of Curro Downs, Ed, he says, like, you know, man, I don't know if I really want to do this because we had block parties, we had like bingo nights and everything too. So hopefully we can get there. But nah, I get what you mean, video guy. All right, next one. Here we go. All right. My favorite part of Fair Oaks is west of Sunrise. It's almost as hilly, all hilly, headed east from there. Fair Oaks Boulevard merges into southbound Sunrise, where there's no stop signs, slowing down traffic a little bit. You can quickly get southbound to 80 by taking Fair Oaks. Winding's got to be one of my favorites. San Juan also, Szechuan Garden. Yeah, I'm with you. American River Bike Trail. Guys, there are so many areas of Sacramento that you need to explore if you come out here. Like I said, like American River Bike Trail, awesome spot, you know, as far as like hiking, biking, you know, like even by like that, what's called the bridge between Gold River and like Fair Oaks, that whole area too. It's like, it's amazing, you know, photography, people are fishing, people are hanging out. If you're looking for like an area though, that is mountain biking, hiking, like outdoor activities, guys, I don't know if it gets better than Sacramento area. All right, next one. Don't LA my Sacramento. I think video guy Matt's saying, I hear you. I think video guy Matt is probably like agreeing with you on that one. All right, let's cross our fingers that Sacramento movie will shed even more light on the area. What do you guys think about that movie? There's a new movie coming out called Sacramento. It was that guy from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. But it's going to be like, it's all over YouTube right now. And I saw pictures of like the Pocket, Tower Bridge and all that stuff too. It's going to be interesting that Sacramento now is getting this movie that's going to give it more publicity and press about our area. What do you guys think of the movie? Is it a good thing, bad thing, or is it like a strategic thing because Sacramento is kind of coming into the light? Just want to know what you guys think. All right, next one. Affordable cost of living is mostly the reason why people are moving to Sacramento area. You know, here's the thing. I think it's affordability. I think a lot of people want to stay in California. I think they see Sacramento is, if they move from LA or the Bay Area, they're not giving a lot up to get a whole lot back. I think a lot of people since COVID want those bigger houses. They want the resort style vibe. They want an area where if we go into COVID too, the revenge, they have a spot where people can get together and gather. I think Sacramento plays perfectly into that. I think a lot of people coming in from the Bay Area, they're moving in like mom. They're moving their entire families and they're creating these kind of compounds out here as well too. So it's interesting, you know, like I said, I think affordability is one, but I also think now people are kind of seeing Sacramento for like a place where you have outdoor activity and you have growth and potential to just go. I mean, I see stuff in Serrano that's just mind blowing, you know? So I don't know. I love the area. All right. Is West Sacramento a good place to buy? 65% said, yeah, that's my dark horse pick for this year and next year for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what effect the A's are going to have on that. All right. Do you like new home builders in Elk Grove? No. Hopefully we might see Toll Brothers out in Elk Grove. I think that would be just phenomenal. I'd love to see some other builders out there as well too. Maybe Shea. Shea doesn't do a lot of building, but I'd love to see them in Elk Grove. I think they'd be good. All right, so Friday video coming. All right, guys, it is up to you guys. I'm going to do whatever you guys want me to do, and I'm going to record it tomorrow. So it's either, I guess this one right now is winning, but if you guys don't want it, let me know, and I will switch gears to something else. Now, if you guys want something specifically outside of this, let me know in the comments below as well too, and I'll put it on the list. But I want to make sure whatever video I drop on Friday, you guys like. And like I said, no BS pros and cons is leading the charge. Tomorrow by 8 a.m., I'm going to pick the video to do for Friday at 7 p.m. Is Elk Grove a popular choice for families due to its schools and amenities? Yeah, absolutely. Elk Grove, whether you like Elk Grove or whether you don't like Elk Grove is probably the most competitive market in the Sacramento area. Is it the most expensive? No. But it's the most competitive. You get so much for the bang for your buck in Elk Grove. It is, though, changing, though. Affordability, not as great as it was before, but growth potential is just off the charts. All right, Goon 5-0. Breakdown EG and SAC would be good. All right, I'm putting that on the list. I actually was going to put this as part of it as well, too. Like, Elk Grove and SAC are interesting. You know, they're like, it's funny whenever I drop Elk Grove and I add Sacramento, you know, Sacramento, California, Elk Grove suburb. Oh, people in Elk Grove are not happy about it. So it would be kind of cool. Maybe, okay. I'll probably do maybe a versus video, maybe in a couple of weeks for those two, but it'll be fun. I don't know which is going to win. I mean, I think a lot of people who move to Elk Grove have different needs than people who are moving to Sacramento. I think like in Sacramento, I mean, Sacramento proper, you're seeing more older homes. And a lot of people in Elk Grove like the newer homes. And then you throw in Laguna as well. And then you throw in the 624. This could be a really fun video. Thank you for that. All right. Are there many affordable housing options in Sacramento? Like I said, and I think we hit this. I think one of the biggest things about Sacramento is that it's not as affordable as it was before. Like I said, affordable for California, yes. Affordable for people who grew up in Sacramento and maybe and they're seeing these houses explode. No, I'd say affordable for people like if you compare it to like Texas or Florida. No, absolutely. All right. Are there many affordable housing options in Elk Grove? No. Nah, I think in fact, I would say that you probably have more affordable housing options in Sacramento than you have in Elk Grove. I think like I said, in Sacramento, in Sacramento proper, like if you look at the College Glen area, Rosemont area, you can still get like a 4 and 2 for probably like $450. In Elk Grove, $450. Oof. I don't even think you can get yourself a 3 and 2 for that anymore. So yeah, it's different. All right. Affordable for the Bay Area and LA people, not for Sacramento people. 100%. I mean, honestly, like the biggest thing for people too, who grew up in Sacramento is because of price points. Like I've worked with a lot of people also who are from Sacramento, and they'll look at a home and they'll say like 5 years ago, that thing was like $450 and now it's $750. I'm not buying that. And so I think that that's one of the biggest things. And that's one of the biggest things when you see a house that was at a certain price a while ago, and then all of a sudden you see it like $200,000 to $300,000 more. I think that just really, really sticks it to people here too. And it's a little bit of a shame. All right. It was 90 degrees in San Antonio today. Does that sound good for this time of the year for you? What was the humidity level? It was 90 degrees in San Antonio today. Does it sound good for this time of the year? 90 degrees? First of all, no. I used to live somewhere that was really humid. 90 degrees and humidity feels like maybe 110. So yeah, that does not feel good to me at all. What do you guys think? 90 degrees right now in March? No, I'm going to tell you something. Today it was rainy, nice cool day. Put on my V-neck. I had a jacket on. I was good. 90 degrees in San Antonio with humidity. Oof. Nah, that ain't for me. Come to Sacramento. We'll show you some weather. All right. Are you looking for a community with a mix of newer developments and established neighborhoods? This is a little tougher one. Okay, so as far as what I'd be looking at is I think Elliott built some homes in Fair Oaks. It was surrounded by kind of nice communities. I think Black Pines did one in Loomis. It was surrounded by communities as well too. But for the most part, you're not seeing a lot of these new home communities built in areas. They're kind of creating their own kind of, like Whitney Ranch, for example, like even Elk Grove 757. The newer communities or that are near the established communities were usually the first phase of a building, like Taylor Morrison. So you're not seeing too many of them. There is some that you can find, but like I said, not a lot. All right. Does the value of historic downtown area with local shops? Do you value a historic downtown area with local shops and restaurants? Yes, I do. I love it. In fact, during the holiday season, that's where we go. We do the light show between Jack Frost and Santa every year. Clockwork. All right. Is higher cost of living compared to the national average concern for you? Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. I mean, here's the thing. I will tell you one thing about Sacramento. Like, it is a more expensive place to live than like your Texases, your Idahos and everything too. And you got to really kind of like look at that on paper and say like, is a California lifestyle worth that to me? For me, it is. Like I said, like, going back to Cali love, 90 degrees today in San Antonio with humidity. I'll pay the little bit of extra to have my Cali weather, but that's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to live in California for the weather? Because for me, I don't mind paying a little bit of a premium to have this weather as opposed to being in 90 degrees and humidity, but that's just me. All right. Is that the last one we got for today? Man, this is a short live. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, if you could smash that likes button for me. If you guys have any questions about this live, let me know. Now, more than likely on Friday, I'm going to be dropping a video about the pros and cons about living, moving to Sacramento 2025. I'm going to try to get over the real, no-brainer stuff quick, like the weather, PG&E, and I'm going to try and nail that stuff really, really quick in the video so we can get into some of the other stuff like projects, traffic, some of the stuff that's coming that you guys might not even know about. So it'll be a Friday at 7 p.m. And that's it. We're done for the night. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this show. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, any comments and questions you might have regarding the show, please put them in the comments below. Now, guys, we are a relocation team, a real estate team in the Sacramento area. We'd love to work with you. So if you have an interest in moving in the Sacramento area, or you're looking to move in and around the Sacramento area, please hit that Zoom link below. We'd love to schedule a call with you, answer any questions you have about moving. Guys, this is a big one, and Sacramento is kind of moving in here is kind of a daunting task. And we'd like to think that we're up for the challenge to work with you to find you that perfect place in the Sacramento area. Now, if you're thinking about selling your home and you live in the Sacramento area, we'd love to work with you. Guys, we've been selling homes on YouTube. We're not those hole in the ground realtors, cross your fingers and bake some really good cookies. Guys, we market your home like no other. And as you can tell down below in these videos, we've been selling homes via YouTube to a lot of Bay Area buyers and people looking to make the move into the Sacramento area. Now, one last thing before I go, I got a playlist right over there. It's of other broadcasts I've actually done in the past to help you get a little bit more education on the area and get you informed. Information is key, it's valuable, and hopefully you get some from that playlist. All right, guys, this is Mark. Until the next video, have a good one.